Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you another important lesson. So this is the part 3 of the lesson. So we are still in the lesson Independence Movement of India. This is the part 3 of Grade 9 History Unit 4. Let's get into the lesson. Today we are going to talk about the significant features of the Independence Day of India's independence movement. So, we are going to talk about the nature of the National Association. How did this National Association was? Why did this National Association was established? So you know that Sepoy Rebellion was defeated by the English and took the areas which were recaptured by the English to themselves. So, because of the failure of the Sepoy Rebellion, the Indians were afraid that the country will become again to the British, and the people will have to suffer. So, with this stimulation, they had got a stimulating of the patriotic feeling. Okay, so because of this thing, these Indians thought of establishing the National Association. It means a national congress. Okay, this National Association turned into the religious revival. Religious in Sri Lanka for the when the British were capturing Sri Lanka also, the people of Sri Lankans did the religious revival. Like that way, India also established national congresses and it turned into religious revival. The foundation of this religious revival was done by the Ram Mohan Roy in the 19th century. You can see the picture of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. His full name is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Then the name of the organization which the Ram Mohan Roy was established. Here we learn that this Ram Mohan Roy founded the religious revival as he now. Brahmo Samaj is the name of this organization which Ram Mohan Roy established. What is the Brahmo Samaj? Secondly, the Paratana Samaj and Arya Samaj are the other organization for Hindus. For the Hindu people, there are two important organizations. They are Paratana Samaj and Arya Samaj. Then the organization for Muslims, they had another two, Ahmadiyya movement and Aligarh movement. Ahmadiyya movement, Aligarh movement. What is the organization which was established by Ram Mohan Roy? Brahmo Samaj. What are the other organizations for Hindus? Paratana Samaj and Arya Samaj. What are the organizations for Muslims? Ahmadiyya movement and Aligarh movement. Then organization for Sikh also there. Sikh people, Singh Sabha. What is the organization for Sikh? Singh Sabha. Then this highway system and communication of India were developed by the British. Okay, what are the two things which the British were developed in India? Highway system and communication in India. So with this development of these two important things, the Indian national was because of this situation, Hindu people, Muslims, Bengalis, Punjabis were immensely existed. So they were immensely existed. During the religious revival, printed media were distributed. They established new schools and they gave education to the women. In Sri Lanka, when the religious revival was going on, they also did the same things. They distributed the printed media, they established new schools, they organized debates with the opposite part. Like that way, the Indians also, during their religious revival, the Indians also did the printed media were distributed, and they established new schools. They gave education to the women. So these are some of the things which were done. So during that time, the education to the women were not given. So after the religious revival, the education to the women were introduced. Then, because of these opportunities, the Indian people were get the opportunity to get the education through Europe. They went to Europe and they get the education. So the Indians, when they went to these Europe countries, the Indians got to know many things about Europe. Till then, they didn't have any knowledge about Europe. So the people who get the education through Europe, they were disappointed because the English had already captured the India, and they are getting the education through Europe. They could not contribute towards the independence. So, however, the higher education was over, and the English didn't let the people to join to the civil service. That's one of a bad quality of the British. Okay, they are very bad. They didn't let the people to join to the civil service, because if they join to the civil service, they have to pay more salaries for them. So the English were very cunning, a group of cunning people. So because of that, the educated people organized different types of organization towards the right of them. So it is a right for a person to join to the civil service, but the English didn't let it. So that is a right of them now. So the educated people organized different types of organization to get towards their rights. Then, what are the factors which was resulted in stimulating patriotic feelings of Indians? So Indians got to know, it means Indians got united under the rule of British because of the communication and highway system which they were established. Second one, looking down on Indians by the British. The British didn't respect them. They looked down of the Indians. That's a very bad quality. The people who are learning in Europe spread the ideas of freedom to India. The people who are learning in Europe spread the ideas of freedom to India. Fourth one is taking steps by the educated people in India. They took steps. By the educated people took steps to increase how to get the independence in India. Then, how did the Indian National Association was established? Now we are going to talk about how this Indian National Association was established. So, in the end of the 19th century, a lot of political organizations were established by the educated people and the business communities in India. However, because India was a large country, they could not carry out the political activities throughout the India, and they could not ability to bring the political view of all of the scholars there. Okay, so what they had done is, under these circumstances, they have arrived different type of powerful organizations. So they established organization to reunite the Indians to repel British from the country, from India. So in 1885, the Indians were able to form a national association in India. We call that national association as Indian National Association. This was founded by Alan Octavian Hume. You can see the picture of Alan Octavian Hume in the screen, and Alan Octavian Hume is a founder of the National Association. He also received the support of the English government to establish the National Association. Okay, so the English thought that when the scholars are brought to a one association, the English will be able to get to know about their opinion, their ideas, and their new thoughts. So lots of representatives, lot of Indian representatives were gathered in Bombay in December 1885. This is the first meeting of the Indian National Association in Bombay, which was held in Bombay in December 1885. W.C. Banerjee, W.C. Banerjee is the first Bengali national who became the first president of this association. Under this association, there are presidents. The first president of this association is W.C. Banerjee, who is a Bengali national. You can see the picture of him also in the screen. Then, what are the objectives of Indian National Association? In this Indian National Association to get objectives of the Indian National. Why did they establish the Indian National Association? What are the objectives? The first one is working towards the cooperation of all Indians. All the Indians work towards the cooperation of all the Indians. Second one, working towards the India to be united. All the Indians work together to be united. Third one, taking measures to collect views and to study the social views. They took measures to collect all the views, and they study the social issues which were happening right now in the country. Fourth one is presenting future plans and ideas. They introduced future plans and future ideas for the India. Then we are going to talk about how did they conduct the Indian National Association. Okay, so at the initial stage, this Indian National Association was limited to only the educated people such as lawyers, doctors and engineers. So the representatives of the association were not these representatives of the association are not the people who are coming from a village. They were coming from the urban cities, rural places. These people did this association to expect the English rulers to do the justice for the Indians and to fair over all these Indians. Okay, so they want to be cooperative with these Indians, cooperative with the English. That's why they associate and they became cooperative with the Indians, with the English to get the independent, not to get the independent, to get the fairness for all of the Indians. And these people who are trying to be cooperative with the English were known as the moderates. Okay, moderates are the people who want to be cooperative with the English. So, the second president, first president is W.C. Banerjee, and the second president of association was Dadabhai Naoroji. You can see the picture of him, Dadabhai Naoroji. Then, some of the examples for these moderates. Examples. So, Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendra Banerjee are some of the moderates of these moderates. Moderates are the people who try to be cooperative with the English. Dadabhai Naoroji and Surendra Banerjee are the examples for these moderates. In 1885 to 1905, this association is under the moderates. From 1885 to 1905, this Indian National Association was under the moderates. So, Surendra Banerjee, Dadabhai Naoroji are examples for moderates. These one control the National Association. Then, what are the requests which were given by the association to the English? The requests given by the association to the English, not the English to association to English. First one, expand the legislative council and increase in the power. This legislative council means at the present we call as a parliament. They want to expand the legislative council and increase the power of them. Second one, giving opportunities to Indians to be in the legislative council. They want to give this association want to give opportunities to all of the Indians to be in the legislative council. Third one, increase in the number of Indians in the civil service. They want to increase the number of Indians in the civil service. Fourth one, they ask that hold the examination for the newly appointed civil service in India. Okay, the fifth one is reducing the government expenditure on war activities. Okay, so they want to reduce the government expenditure for war activities. What are the 5 requests given by the association to the English? Expand the legislative council and increase in the power. Giving opportunities to Indians to be in the legislative council. Increasing the number of Indians in the civil service. holding examination for the newly appointed civil service in India, reducing the government expenditure on war activities. Then, so these requests has been submitted. Okay, these 5 requests has been submitted to the government by the Indian National Association, and these requests were given by the association to English to get the more opportunities for Indians to increase their administrative affairs. Okay, so what has happened? To get the approved from the English government, the association implemented different types of measures. So some of them are submitting petitions, having discussion with the authorities, holding meetings, giving the publicity to the activities through writing, which they did not disturb the activities of the government or any inconvenience was happened. So these kind of measures were implemented. Okay, so and from 1905 to 1919, the Indian National Association policies were changed and the activities also were changed. From 1905 to 1919, Indian National Association policies and the activities were changed. Okay, the moderates' power were low and the youth who are radicals became more powerful. The moderates, who are the moderates? Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee are the example for moderates. So these moderates' power were low and the youth people who are known as radicals became more powerful. These youths rejected the policies of the moderates and they call these one as extremists. Okay, these youths rejected the policies of the moderates and these people are known as the extremists. So in Sinhala, we call for extremists as Antavadi. Then these extremists didn't become cooperative with the English government. They have to take some measures to be cooperative with the government. They didn't want to be cooperative. They want to take some measures. Extremists. Who are extremists? The youth rejected the policies of the moderates people. Then these extremists criticized submitting pensions to the English and they told that this is like political begging. They doesn't like this. The extremists doesn't like to criticize the submitting pensions to the English and they told this is just like political begging. So they made this Indian National Association to the aggressive part. So the people, there are 3 people who led the extremist group. Who led the extremists. They are Lal Lajpat Rai, this is Lal Lajpat Rai, Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandrapal. Okay, Lal Lajpat Rai, Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandrapal. Remember these 3 names, the ones who are the ones who led the extremist group, Lal Lajpat Rai, Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandrapal. Remember these pictures also. Then a compagent was launched to avoid the goods which was imported from the England. Okay, so these what has happened? A compagent was launched to avoid the goods which was imported from the England. So Swadeshi movement is a compagent which the English which the people avoided the British product and used Indian products. What is the movement? We call the movement Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi movement is the compagent which the people avoided the British products and used the Indian products. The leaders of this association took measures to spread the Swadeshi movement around India by starting it from Bengal. They started this Swadeshi movement from Bengal and they want to spread this movement throughout the India. So this is the way how they produce their own products in India. Then they thought to improve the local industries also. These people thought of improving the local industries. We call this one as the economic freedom. So the English introduced several reforms. 2 important reforms are there. More lot of them are there. But in this grade 9 textbook history, we have 2. Parliamentary reforms in 1909. Second one, Montagu Kelmersdorf in 1919. Parliamentary reforms in 1909. Montagu Kelmersdorf, Kelmford in 1909. So in 1920, the objectives of this association was to win the self-rule. Okay, self-rule means a system that the India is ruling by the India while British is ruling. So in 1920, the objective of the association was what? To win the self-rule. What is self-rule? A system that the India is ruling by the Indians while British is ruling. So there are two important leaders who have promoted the self-rule. They are Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant. I will show the pictures. So this is the book also known as India's Self-Rule, and this is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and this is Annie Besant, a woman and a man. Men name is Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant are the people who who want to promote the self-rule. So in 1990, English introduced a Rowlatt Act. So in 1990, the English introduced Rowlatt Act. We call Rowlatt Act or Criminal Act. So Rowlatt Act or Criminal Act in 1919 English was introduced. So under the Rowlatt Act, the government had the powers to imprison any person for 2 years without any court of law. So the Rowlatt Act, under this Rowlatt Act is really dangerous. This what they had done is the English government have the powers to put that person to the prison for 2 years without any court of law. You know, there are a lot of courts and laws like in Sri Lanka here we have court laws, right? So under the Rowlatt Act, the government had powers to put that person in the prison for any 2 years without any court of law. So the Indian National Association and Mahatma Gandhi launched a Satyagraha campaign. The Indian National Association and Mahatma Gandhi launched a Satyagraha campaign. This Satyagraha campaign means making the opposite side understand by showing the truth. Satyagraha means that opposite side means making the English understand by showing the truth, power of the truth. Satyagraha means. So in April 1919, army shot at in April 1919, there is a festival among Indians we call as Baisakhi. Baisakhi is a festival celebrated by the Indians in April. Okay, they celebrated in April. They all were gathered to a place called Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar for a meeting. During the Baisakhi, this Baisakhi is a festival where all the people are becoming happy and being united. So in Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar, they all gathered there in April 1919 for a meeting. So 400 Indians. So during that time, this English shot to these Indians. 400 of Indians were killed and lot of others were injured. And some of the people were fallen into that well, has been jumped to that well. And this tragedy, this situation we call as Jallianwala Bagh tragedy or Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Okay, this what has happened in April 1919. These the Indians gathered in Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. The English army shot to that 1,000 of Indians. In the 400 Indians were killed, many of others were injured, and 1,000 of people were fall into that well. And this is called as Jallianwala Bagh. I will show the pictures here. This is Mahatma Gandhi. This is Jallianwala Bagh tragedy. And this is a Jallianwala Bagh place where this is a place in India. So this is a well where lot of Indians were fallen in, and this is the bullet marks where displays, bullet marks were there when the English army shot to them. So you can see the pictures here. So in 1920, the people were very disappointed because of the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy and the Rowlatt Act or Criminal Act. In 1920, the people were really disappointed because of the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy happened 1990 and the Rowlatt Act which was introduced. What is Rowlatt Act? Putting the people in the prison for 2 years. In December 1920, the Indian National Association conducted the non-cooperative movement. In December 1920, the Indian National Association launched a non-cooperative movement. This non-cooperative movement means a movement to stop being cooperation with the government. You know, I told you that before one of the objective of establishing the National Association to become cooperative with the English government to give the fairness for all of the Indians. But later, because of this tragedy, because of the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy and Rowlatt Act in December 1920, the Indian National Association has been conducting non-cooperative movement, and this non-cooperative movement means a movement to stop being cooperation with the English government. So in January 1921, remember, just like a story. January 1921, non-cooperative movement spread throughout the country. Right? This non-cooperative movement, which the movement to stop being cooperative with the government, was being spread throughout the country in January 1921. The Indians gave all the honorary names which were given to them, all the honorary jobs they were given, all the boycotted courts, boycotted import goods, and all the things which were given to them were given back to the English by the Indians. So Mahatma Gandhi, C.R. Dyers traveled throughout. This Mahatma Gandhi and this C.R. Das. C.R. Das and Mahatma Gandhi traveled throughout the country to stop the cooperation towards the government. Okay. So there were some measures implemented by the Indian National Association after 1921. After 1921, there were some measures which were implemented by the National Association. So first one, launching cooperative movement. So they launched non-cooperative movements. Okay, this Indian National Association launched non-cooperative movements in 1920. When did they launch this movement? Non-cooperative movement in January. In this you can see in December 1920 they launched non-cooperative movement. In 1928, they launched a Hartal campaign against Simon Commission. In 1928, Indian National Association launched a Hartal campaign or a strike against the Simon Commission, like a protest, picketing. Now, Sri Lanka also faced to this kind of a situation. There is the Hartal campaign going on Gold Face. So, like that way, in 1928, the Indians also launched Hartal campaign against the Simon Commission in 1920. In 1928, all the political parties in India came together. Okay, 1920, all the political parties in India and the whole party conference took measures and came together. Okay, 1928. In 1929, they made the key objective of the association. Now, their main objective of association was to become cooperative with the government in the early days. No, now in 1929, their objective was to win the independence towards India. So they want to win the independence. Then in the fifth one, they organized civil disobedience campaign. Okay, what has happened? They organized civil disobedience campaign also. Lastly, in 1942, they launched a Satyagraha campaign. Satyagraha means showing the truth of power to the opposite, the English government. They launched Satyagraha campaign with the slogan "Englishmen quit India." They shouted, they picketed, "Englishmen quit India," like that. They wrote in boards, like now Sri Lanka also faced this situation in Gold Face and different protests was there. In 1942, they launched a Satyagraha campaign with the slogan "Englishmen quit India." So, last part. Now, this is the last part. In 1920 to 1947, the National Association was very active. This 1920 to 1947, this is a very active period of the National Association. This entire independence of India was under the Mahatma Gandhi. All this entire independence of India were under the Mahatma Gandhi, because the leadership was taken by Mahatma Gandhi during this period. And then these under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian National Association took some non-violent protest strategies, such as they hold Satyagraha campaign. They became non-cooperative with the government. They hold protests, and they were civil disobedience. Due to these activities, the Indian National Association came near to the objective. What is the objective? They want to win the independence towards the India. So that's the objective. So that's these from 1920 to 1947. This thing will happen. So thanks for watching my video. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Thank you, and see you in the next video.